All right, folks, welcome on back here this Friday, closing out the week here this May 7th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Welcome on back here for our afternoon meeting. Good to go for all of us live inside the trading room. Ken, you got your audio now, hopefully loud and clear for all of us here. Michael Leda, who gave us her Friday riddle of the week just before. Kathleen, Stefan, Lynette, who had a really nice morning herself. Bill, Debbie, all of our students and trial members joining us live inside the Cyber Group room. And for all of us on social media, Facebook Live and YouTube, welcome on back. Hey, heading into the end of the week, we're not expecting a whole lot to happen. Typically on the outliers, Mondays and Fridays, not a whole lot happens in terms of news or earnings or whatever the case may be. Keyword there is typically, because today we ended up seeing a lot of companies report from Thursday afternoon, mind you. I mean, and more expensive companies: Peloton, Yelp, Shake Shack, Net, Square. All of those companies ended up reporting from the close yesterday. But today we ended up having DraftKings, we ended up having Nikola, we ended up having Kronos, and we ended up having news come out across a couple of other trades. So we ended up having a pretty active morning. Things ended up really slowing down, though, taking us into the early parts of the afternoon. And going into this time right now, we have a couple of other stocks that are making a move, like you can see here: EYES, EYES. SPY ended up pushing up early on today. The Dow and the S&P both ended up squeezing up early, fairly, trading similarly today as they typically do. But you can see the S&P ETF to SPY on my 5-minute chart squeezing back up, at least, from like 421.50-ish. Hey, heading into the afternoon, we'll hopefully see the market squeeze up higher. Some stocks go with the market that we could try and day trade. This EYES stock for right now, though, I don't know what the news was. Actually, I do know the news. Give me a quick sec. Rich just copied and pasted that for us here live inside the chat board. I forgot about that. Thank you very much, Rich. So EYES, basically Second Sight Medical Products shares spiking higher. Company received decision to grant European patent titled hybrid fitting for a visual press. Yeah. Been a long week. A lot of words above my pay grade some days, but there you go. So nonetheless, EYES ended up making a big squeeze up, ended up beginning to dump off already. Now, at this point, though, we've seen the stock pump and dump a few times just across the last couple of months, as you can see, dating back probably into early March. That was, popping from like $2.50, $3 all the way up towards just about like 20 and above, the following day. Ended up dumping, obviously, back down to where it is here. So history could repeat itself. For right now, I'll put this on our list. It might get bumped off our list perhaps by the end of it. It ends up continuing to dump off. It's not really going to make us want to watch it much further. So what we'll really do is go from top to bottom here. We'll talk about the DraftKings. We'll talk about the Nikola, a couple of other stocks. Otherwise, like I'd said, we'll just keep it simple, though. No class coming up later, but otherwise we'll just start from the top. The IHT ended up making a bit of a move today. Now, we're familiar with a lot of these hospitality stocks, and I guess now I really should say a lot, but we're familiar with a couple. AHT is one of them, IHT, and then we got AHT. This one ended up coming off of earnings. I think that was also from this week, but we ended up seeing them make a squeeze up today. The IHT top percent gainer ended up making a big pop shortly after the market opened up, ended up kind of consolidating. Volume was dying off up and down, and out of nowhere ended up seeing a second wave, a second pop over 5, ended up running up to 6, and then there goes right back down. So at least comparing this to the AHT trade, this one we're kind of all familiar with here live inside the trading room, at least for any of us that are here day to day. You've seen us call the stock out. It's more of a level 1 to 2 trade at least, and today even a bit slower compared to the earlier parts of this week, from late last week even, I think that was. So hey, it's near the highs. I like it. We'll put this on our list here too, at least this one, the AHT, not the IHT. All right, cool. We would have ran into this anyway, probably, as we went from top to bottom across here, but we'll keep going. Crazy RHE, another one, ended up making a big squeeze up today, but I mean, again, much like we talked about back from Wednesday this week, for as much as this went up, dumped completely back down going into the end of the day on Wednesday in the after hours. Hey, today it ended up popping, but again, we'll kind of do our daily check and probably would have found this. Nope, not BTC. I like BTC. I'm mixing that up with BTX. We would have found this anyway, I'm sure. But BTX, again, from where it started from to where it moved to, you can't keep expecting that to move up day to day, if at all. I mean, at this point, I would still expect this to keep dropping, but same to be said on the on the RHE stock here, number 2. There we go. All right, so we're going to pass on this. Let's keep it going for right now. CPS, spotty chart. We'll kind of just skim it here. MD, not Michael Dorsey, our student MD in the trading room here, but MD, the stock, ended up making a nice squeeze up, taking us into the early afternoon, like, low volume, really low volume. And when I say that, I mean, for what we typically scan for per minute. I'm not talking about how much volume it's trading per day or across 2 day. I mean, there's a lot of volume compared to what it normally trades, but even for what we look for here as day traders, albeit it pushed up steadily and it's at the highs, it's light volume, thin volume. It's just not worth it. We don't need to put the stock on our list just yet. So unless if you're already in it and making some good money on it, then I'd probably just look somewhere else. Michael says, that's my company. There you go, Mike. You didn't tell us that. Would have been trading that stock for a long while. The ACST here ended up seeing this make a nice squeeze in pre-market. Unfortunately, like we see a lot of these like small cap, low float. I don't know the float on this. I don't really care to check, but ended up dumping off right away. I mean, shortly after the pop, after the market opened up. But goes to show, I mean, hey, we're day trading these. We're not swing trading these. Also goes to show, hey, you can't just, throw a dart on the wall and hope it lands, because once the volume dies up or dries up, the stock dies off. And we ended up seeing this begin to crash right back down. It's a cheap stock. You could trade several thousands, hundreds of thousands of shares, perhaps even of a trade like this. But even a penny down is a lot of money in that case. All right. MGI, how about this? MGI will kind of just jump to, and it's number 8, but ended up making a hell of a move up today. This was earnings based, so I didn't put them on my infamous little whiteboard calendar in my home office, but we're familiar with the stock. I actually looked at them when I was doing the calendar for the week, and I was like, I don't think they'll make the best move. And they didn't have a big pre-market, so it was pretty under the radar, really. After the market opened up, ended up moving up relatively steadily, but ended up popping right from 7. That was it. So we had our eyes on it from that point, but I'll tell you, going forward on MGI's next earnings, in 3 months from now, I'll remember this. So I'll definitely make my calendar, at least for the afternoon. We'll keep this on our list. It's shortable, or it's already crapped out the other way, already broke below 8, but it's kind of slowing down here a bit. Maybe in the final hour, we'll see more action on this stock taking us into the afternoon. Keep it going. FNKO here. What a dump off IBIO was here, really. Again, another perfect example. I mean, great news came out on this. I'm not going to care to recite what it was, but it was, with I think phase 3 news for one of their drugs, ended up seeing them make like a big 30-40% push in pre-market or the after hours even yesterday. And actually, I'll just zoom out on the 5-minute chart just to show you that. But nonetheless, ended up popping. As soon as the market opened up, completely dumped back down. And I mean, unless if you could short it, just there's no real trade there, no real opportunity. All right, so TLRY. We'll talk about TLRY pretty quickly. TLRY, I don't think that was earnings based. Definitely would have wrote TLRY down, at least on my end, that's for sure. TLRY shares trading higher after Jefferies upgraded the stock from underperform to buy and raised its price target from the hell is this, from $4.77 to $23 per share. So wacky price upgrade. I don't know, from 477 of all prices to 23 per share. Whatever. It ended up popping as soon as the market opened up, but it was more the sector that ended up lifting it up higher too. We ended up seeing MJ really squeeze up throughout the morning, and that ended up resulting in the ACB trade pushing up nicely. I talked about Kronos, pot stock, that had earnings from the market open today. I mean, look at this, ended up just taking off right away. I mean, our focus was more on the TLRY and more on the ACB trade there. Oh, yeah, AFA is no longer a symbol. I was about to type in AFRIA here, but they ended up merging with TLRY. I remember that from this week. So, getting back to TLRY, you could just see how flat it is now. The reason I have a line here at 1682, I called this out earlier in the trading room, and I'm just mentioning it just to show a clear example of smart money. There was a 170,000 share print filled on the tape right at 1682. So, that was a print, perhaps you can call it a dark pool. It was a market-filled print. It was not from level 3. But it's just to say this. It's like, imagine seeing a 170,000 share order on the ask. What would you do? So you got to treat that as resistance, as a support potentially. But once it breaks back below that price, then you got to expect for it to act as resistance. And once it does that, what's the end result? the drop off. So you just don't want to get caught hoping and holding. If you're expecting this to move up higher going into this afternoon, it's not doing that really here. All right, so let's see what else we got here, folks. Yeah, CCJ, Terry saying new highs. Yeah, it is making new highs. Has good spread, good liquidity. Trading about 20,000 shares per minute across the last 20 minutes in time. That's not factoring in this big spike. So, it goes to show that's not necessarily too inflated of a number. Yeah, I like this. I like this a lot, CCJ. Really good call. Ran right into it here. All right, cool. Let's see what else we got. Not really much of, oh, no, right here. I was just about to say, my eyes deceived me for a second, but at 2025, keep an eye on the ask here. 14,000 share order on the ask that you can see. Roku. All right, let me jump over to the losers list here. Got from Mitch on YouTube looking at DraftKings. Mitch, you gotta wait, buddy. You gotta wait a quick second. I'm just jumping right over to the losers list here, Mitch. No, I'm teasing you. We'll get to DraftKings in just a second. That is at the lows right now, dropping off very steadily. So I was definitely going to get to that here, even if it wasn't on the top part of the quote unquote losers list. CCXI ended up making a big drop as soon as the market opened up. I will check out the news just to recite. I mean, this is one obviously that took a beating early in pre-market, so you might want to know what the news is on a stock like this. So let's see. So this stock was halted yesterday morning, and news came out at the time, or I guess it was halted, news pending, ahead of the FDA panel review. A whole bunch of crap on my Benzinga Pro right now, so pardon me for this. So basically saying they're trading lower following a vote from the FDA panel on whether the efficacy data supports the approval for their drug. That's basically it. I'm not going to copy and paste, but ended up making a steep drop off in pre-market. It was shortable, right? So ended up dropping off that much further. And then after the market opened, same thing. Ended up just tailing off all the way down to 10 and below. I mean, low of the day off 955. Ended up just snapping right back over 10, as you would eventually expect. Not to say that they all come back or all squeeze back even up, but this ended up doing just that. Ended up bouncing relatively off the 10 level and moved up a couple bucks. But yeah, at this point now, not a whole lot happening here. Look at this cheapie. It's shortable. DS. Normally don't have a stock that's shortable. That's this low price. Good spread. Good liquidity at the low. And if it doesn't break any lower, maybe we'll see a dead cat bounce, a little squeeze back up here. So DS here, definitely. I don't know what the news is. We'll just kind of keep going for right now. AUPH off the lows right now. I guess bad news on this, or maybe earnings, perhaps. But big support. Icebergs at 10 and 10.01 on the bid. Good setup, as I would say. So we'll see what happens on this trade too. Give it a look. Ken says in our chat board, too many damn drugs, too many pharma companies. But hey, you know what? As a day trader, that's a good opportunity as long as we know what we're doing on them. And by that, I mean as long as you manage your trades well and make sure that they don't go the other way and we're just stuck holding. TDC, not much happening there. Shake Shack, like I said from Thursday afternoon yesterday, it's actually at the lows. Just order book, big spread, light liquidity on the book there. So, if you want to do a put on it, if it breaks lower, that's different. But otherwise, I'm not really too interested. End of the week. Today, I didn't really do as hot compared to the last few days. Compared to the last, at this point, 2 weeks counting at this point, this is, I think, the end of my, little hot streak here. I'm still up on the day, but, not by a whole lot, up a couple hundred. I'm blessed to have that, but just it was hard to come by. TLRY ended up doing me well, and from there I ended up just taking tiny trades after. More losses than wins after that point, but just don't want to give it all back. It's a hard day. CLNE at the lows. This one also off of earnings, I think, from yesterday afternoon. I didn't mention them with the others, but not as well known, but ended up making a big drop off, and I had them on my calendar at least. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of at the lows, off 9. I guess I can put this on our list if I really want to. You know what? It is actually kind of right near the lows back from what, like May or April? I mean, yeah, it looks like if we end up seeing another shakedown on this, perhaps we'll get a bigger drop. So you know what? We don't really have too many stocks on our watch list so far. I'll put this on there. I'll put this one on. All right, Mitch, let's get to your DraftKings. What else we got? Yep. So this one is down 6.5%. Broke below 49. I mean, immediately dropped almost to 48. This one, I guess, wouldn't have made the top 50, but I was going to get to it. Nice call from Mitch on YouTube. And yeah, with that, we'll add DraftKings DKNG off of earnings. Taking a look on Benzinga Pro really quickly, folks. Our signals, alert service page here, and just seeing if there's any other movers. Got one here, BTU. It's just a little slow, but it's at the highs. Nice move. Trading 2.5 million shares, up 7%. Seems to be approaching historical resistance on the daily chart. High is probably just over 5 or at 5. 521. 511. I know there's higher. 530. So perhaps in between 520 to 530, if the stars align, this could make squeeze up nicely. A little slow, but I'll put this on here. RJF asking about the MGI making a comeback. Yeah, I mean, this one already is on our list. Just given the volatility, it's more the range than the volatility. I like this stock because it has great spread and great liquidity, so it's not going to be too volatile, I'd imagine. But big range across the day. See a stock go from 650 up to near 9, ended up coming back down and back over that 8. So yeah, we're definitely going to keep this in mind. And if it re-breaks below 8, then I would look to short it. Not right away, but look for the selling on the tape. Look for the clues to show on the tape there. And if it breaks below 8 convincingly, then perhaps we'll see it squeeze lower. All right, let me check the loser side of that Benzinga page there too before I sign off. I'm good. All right, folks, I think that just about does it here. All right, so keep in mind, actually, I made the little banner a bit different for all of us on social media here today. Just going into the week, I made this announcement starting from this past Tuesday, heading into this upcoming Tuesday, May 11th. We have our special workshop that we always host, that we will continue to host. We'll simulcast it, at least coming up for Tuesday on our YouTube channel, that being our Traders Talk workshop. If you have any questions, we'll make sure that you get the email to send any questions or trades over to for us to discuss and talk about live. But I would appreciate if you folks join us coming up this Tuesday, May 11th. Just make sure that you like, subscribe, notify right on our YouTube channel there, just when we're going live for that. And then for all of us inside the trading room, that'll just be same time, same place. I'll just be doing my normal stuff for you guys there. All right, so keep that in mind. But aside from that, enjoy the weekend. It's gonna be beautiful out here in Long Island, New York. So I'm gonna enjoy it. I hope that you folks enjoy it where you are as well. For all of us live inside the trading room, 60 more minutes to go. Actually, about 72 more minutes to go. But I look forward to taking you folks going into the end of the day here. All right, I'll talk to you all soon.